promise I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide.
What up? What up? What is up? And welcome back to Pregaming here, Monday through Friday. We get popping off around 6 p.m. today, a little bit later in the card, but it's okay. I think it's all for the better here. Had to get a couple of things literally right before we get ready to score. But man, we came off a huge week. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Winning money always puts me in a better weekend mood. What a Friday down there at Seneca, Allegheny. Watching our guy Kevin Carrier go to battle. Gets the win. Big choke at the very end. Goes in with 30 seconds left in the third round. Finishes it up with about 10 seconds left in the third round to get the win. Some say he was down 2-0. I'd say it was 1-1. Saturday's UFC card finished huge. Lots of dogs. Lots of prices. We got a big pay-per-view card this weekend. Big one, 317. The playbook's already under construction. We already got the first breakdown from VB MMA Picks. And Ramon Scott's been running so hot. You guys can check that out. It's already out there. Get ready. We'll pop first strike off on Wednesday. First things first, congratulations to the OKC Thunder. Big winner last night. We had a big live stream last night. Hopefully you guys came on by because we made a lot of money, as we do on these live streams. Sadly, the third quarter formula is going to be over. There's no more NBA. But it sent us out in style with a nice, easy cash to take the home favorite down at halftime. Not covering the spread out there. Gets it done for us. They get the spread cover. It was a big one, too. It was like 4.5. But they went on to bust them up by like 15 points in that third quarter. We live bet the OKC Thunder. We got it done. We had the Thunder pregame. We had the team total under. We live bet the team total under. We had some player props out there. Halliburton under. We had the over on TJ McConnell. And sadly, we saw the situation with Halliburton. I said this last night. Non-factor. I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big injury, and I'm not going to minimize the importance of the injury. Whoops, we got something on the screen there. But it's a non-factor. And you have to think about the fact that Game 6, the uncertainty of this guy's status in Halliburton, meant that team spent time practicing what life's going to look like without him. So they got him in Game 6, and they busted him up so much in Game 6 that they could rest him. They really didn't play with him to some extent. He comes out on fire for Game 7. Those low-cut shoes now that these boys in the NBA are wearing are posing a problem. Ruptures that Achilles. Hopefully he'll be back and ready to attack. But again, it was a non-factor. And so TJ McConnell coming in, not built to be a regular playing minutes guy, has to go out there and play regular minutes for 3 quarters. And they just gassed out. And you saw it by the end of the third quarter. Even if you're believing in the coach philosophy, what was Carlisle going to do? I said last night, he would have had to literally lace it up himself just because they needed the depth. They didn't have any depth. So reality sets in here. And yeah, what can you say about the Pacers team? Well, they've had some great plays in there. No doubt about it. Kind of a little darling, kind of a little Cinderella story. They just weren't built to be there. And the fact that they got some of the big wins that they did shows that OKC is a young team. And they're probably going to go out there and, well, this won't be the first time we've seen OKC. Not to mention they got through it. I always think in Game 7, it's a ridiculous thing to talk about the coach. And especially at halftime. Because I feel to me that star players are going to step up. That's why they're your star players. They're not out there to run the pick and roll because you're snapping your fingers, telling them to go pick and roll. They're out there going to try to win the chip because they're down to it, and they've been practicing it ever since they were kids on the playground. So I just think there's some different ways to look at sports betting. That's where experience comes into play. Nobody's got the experience that this sports money team has, and happy to share it with you guys. Also, big news on the NHL front for them Philadelphia Flyers. I'm excited because I like a team that makes moves in the offseason. Trevor Zegras becomes a Philadelphia Flyer. Former Anaheim Duck. Star player? Okay. He was their offense. He scores. He produces points. You move him into Philadelphia with the young team that they have. Added a 20-goal scorer to the roster today, and we'll take it. Maybe more. What else is happening along the lines of sports? Well, we have a small baseball card tonight. That's what's happening. We've just entered the dog days of summer. It's official. We have just MLB tonight. But we've been firing away on the WNBA. I'll look at the record here. I think we've been like 10-1 in our last 11 WNBA plays. So we'll keep hitting on those. Things that you can continue to expect along the summer. Golfing, we're going to continue to look at golf. We're going to try to get better at that and keep getting some of this cash. MMA Jeff has been threading the needle. Plus 500, 600, 700s, 900s. We'll put some NASCAR out there. We'll have some fun with motor vehicles, driving at high rates of speed with guys that are barely wearing a safety harness. We'll see if that can be some fun for us. And, look, we're still going to have the UFC. We'll have, before we know it, we'll have some Dana White Contender Series out here by around the end of August. And then the live streams. We'll get back and running for the NFL primetime coverage Thursdays. I think we're going to add Sundays and Mondays this year. So more coming down the pike. College football. How can we forget about that? But hey, we're here. We got to grind. And grind we did last week. It was a truly remarkable week here for the show. That's when the haters come out. We know that already. And they had plenty to hate. We were firing. Every single day was a strong day for us here show-wise. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to go back after it and start it up again this week. Albeit, though, today I was looking at the card going, it's travel days. It's a smaller than normal schedule. It's hot as fuck, by the way. We have a heat advisory. They canceled the Finger Lakes racetrack, and we set a record high. Triple digits in the month of fucking June. Miserable. I do not appreciate when the weather pops over 90 degrees. Mostly because of the humidity. Mostly because of this humidity. All right. Let's do it. You guys know the deal. We're going to cover the games that you see here. We're going to look at some trends, cash flow, line movement, splits. We're going to talk about anything that we can find and trying to read the sports almanac and try to read those tea leaves and come up with the right way to get our money down today. I think I got a couple ways to get after it. Man, I'm still a couple games I'm trying to decide on. That'll be later. I'll probably open up. I've got some player props tonight that I want to get in play as well. But we have a 6:40 start. Here's about 20 minutes away from the Baltimore Orioles hosting the Texas Rangers tonight. And then we got the Yankees and the Reds. The Braves and the Mets, another NL East battle for the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves. Mets coming off that series against the Phillies. Braves coming off that series against the Marlins. How do you back teams after they already played a divisional series? We'll talk about that. Pittsburgh and Milwaukee. Algonquin for the good land. And we got our play in that spot. We got Seattle and Minnesota. The Cubs in St. Louis. 2 plays in the Cubs in St. Louis. And I realized, shame on me, I left off a spot. We're going to talk about the White Sox as well. The White Sox and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Eduardo Rodriguez on the bump, and we have a spot to play on him tonight. So, ready for it. I hope you guys are as well. It's time for us to get to the getting. I mentioned last week and we didn't have a show on Friday. I did give some bets out there this Friday and Sunday. Pretty sure we ended up down like 2 units across the card there, but plenty of good stuff that we made up from our live betting shows. As far as Thursday went, though, that was a pretty good day, if I do recall. I'm going to start getting the recap out there on X as well, but Thursday was a pretty fine and dandy day for us. It's tough because it's so long ago now, right? But yeah, we found some success. We had some Phillies in under action. Nice little 2.25 unit. The Mets lost the first 5 in full game, and Charlie Morton, ground chuck, got 7 Ks, not under 5.5. But that's when we fired on the Pacers game. We fired on the Pacers first half. We fired on the Pacers first half over. Interesting enough, we ended up on the team total under for the Pacers this past game. And then Golden State won the first half in full game. We lost that Houston Astros spot. So that's the way it goes sometimes in the game. But now's the time of the game where you guys smash that thumbs up button. So let's go. Let's keep it going. Let's build the sports money community by you guys showing your generosity, your support. We have memberships available as we are member supported. We do appreciate you guys that believe in what we're doing and share a couple of shillings to help us keep the lights on. Most important thing you can do is smash that thumbs up button. Post show comments. We had a great barbecue contest. Go gets the winner. But now we're starting a new week. We're trying to build some new money. New thumbs up button requested. Take some time to do that right now. Okay. Sorry, I'm late start, technology issues, and I had to order a new thingamajig. You guys know what a thingamajig is? The little piece that accepts the import for my Ethernet cord into the USB-C drive. I think it fried out finally. Overloaded. Final. Okay. I'm ready. You guys should be ready. Get that pen and paper out. We're going to talk about the best damn chat in the business and what they have to say for their best bets out there. And we're going to kick it off with none other than Gerald Jones. I told you this guy's about to bust out. Get ready to write him down and follow along with our man. He says it's betting time and his best bet, Cubs and Cardinals. He's giving you an even money look on that key number of 9. Gerald Jones, our guy, coming through. What's up, Kenny Wood, Nicholas Handy, David Wallace is here, Robert McCormick, Ignatius Penny Feather the 7th. Bear with me for 1 second. Ignatius Penny Feather the 7th likes Luke Raleigh over a half a total basis. And Uber over 5.5 hits. Uber was a very tough decision for me, and how did I want to play this pile of dog shit? I think I have a way to play. I think I have a way to attack it. I think I'm going to attack it with a combo. I think I might add a second leg to it as well. Trying to sorry guys. Trying to do a lot. Okay. Jay Main's ready to go. Gorky. What's up, Gorky? Got to spend time with Gorky last night on screen. He likes the Texas Rangers. He likes the hot Atlanta Braves and the Red Sox. Tied them together, it looks like there. Stop Geo Engineer. Let's make some motherfucking posters. What's up, old E's in the house? Gorky says, I wanted to have action. I get it, dude. I was out fucking sweating in the heat all day, so I was actually sick, sweating out booze, sweating out playoff booze. You know, we're gonna get cleaned up here a little bit, but a couple of hard streams of playoff booze coming out of me here. I think for the last 2 weeks we had like, I don't know, 8, 9 live streams. They're fun. We did a great job, Cash, and that was why we dig in when the season's coming to an end and there's only a couple of spots. We have to fire into it, but I did not have any action yet today. Scratching a little bit. Lillard, USA team all tore Achilles. Huh. I didn't even think about that, J-Man. Since I saw that somewhere. Star players, small shoes. check it. Check into it. That's a real thing, I think, going around there. Gerald Jones says OKC has ton of draft picks the next 4. Yeah, they do. So that's to Keith. Each and every stride, gifting some memberships and donos last night. There's Tarek B. He's going to miss the third quarter theory. Need to find another one. There's a guy, Guillermo Sertucci. What's up? G was in the house last night. Let's go, my friend. Ignatius Pennyfeather says 45 degrees Celsius here. 113 west of Ottawa. Yeah, it's fucking hot, dude. West of Ottawa, huh? Huh. Shout out to Station Play 211. Likes the pimp slap. He likes the Cubs over. And he likes the Baltimore team total over. Seattle Mariners. What's up, Mitch Morber? Nasty Nate. This is the Red Sox. First half. Not smash. Just the first half. Mitch Morber says, give me the Reds to score the first inning. Plus 145. Last time they saw this whining, they smashed the shit out of this guy. I live in Ohio. It's hotter than 2 mice fucking in a wool sock. It is hot, dude. It is hot. Peter Grassi is here. David Wall says, no sweat home run on DK. I got you. Shout out to AOD. Jeff Matthews is in the house. Is Policano revenge game, huh? Smoke and mirrors. It's hot here. It's hot everywhere. Tarek B likes the Nats. Padres over 8 and the Diamondbacks. Gonzo. He's taking the Reds money line. Atlanta -1 in Arizona. Andrew G says it was so hot the power went out. Yeah. All you guys, man. Oh, at least I know I'm not alone and sweating and sweltering. Then I ran out to run a couple errands and I forgot to put the air on in my office. And I came in here and I was like, holy fuck. Mitch Morber likes Jake Fraley to get a plus 700 worth of look. He smashed one of them off whining the last time. I got a couple we'll talk about. I've got a couple we will talk about, and let's do it. We got a few minutes till this first game pops off here tonight. We'll get the cards started. Like I said, I didn't love the card, but kind of anytime I say that, we find a way to be profitable. So I'm going to stay positive. Scumbag! The scumbag play of the day's in. Go. The Cardinals and the Padres. He's got a plus 210 parlay for us from Skunt Blaster. The scuntbag play of the day from our guy, Skunt Blaster. I don't think I can say skunt enough. Shout out to the sound. What happened? No. There we go. Yeah, it's so hot the damn computer's even running slow here tonight. Shout out to Skunt Blaster with the $4.99 super sticker. My dude. Cheers to you, my friend. He says no. All right, you guys. We are going to need to pull together these next couple of weeks because it is slim pickings with some of these daily sports that are going on. Big tennis matches this week, so I'm going to take a look. Tennis. I used to be a lot better at tennis than I am. And I'm better at women's tennis than men's. So keep that in mind as we fire out tennis plays. I follow it. I just don't follow it as closely anymore, but we're going to turn gears. Also, with NASCAR, not a huge I've got a guy that gives me some NASCAR picks, so we'll see what that looks like as well. Andrew G has got to get back in Nito tennis, Mikey. I agree. We'll get there. Okay, let's get there. Whoop, did I put the first play out there? Did I put the first play out there is a silly question. We're going to look right off the gate at this Texas Rangers play that's popping off here shortly, and we'll go through the splits. We'll talk about the pitching matchup here as best we can tell. We'll look at all the ins and the outs here. And this line's somewhat tilted towards Texas. I get it. Baltimore's pretty much running on fumes at this point. But it does concern me just a little bit that you can catch this Texas Rangers at plus 112. Public money just literally came in here just a few seconds ago on the Rangers, but the cash started coming in on Baltimore. So we got 58% of the bets and 61% of the cash on the Baltimore Orioles. It's come down 4 cents. It really hasn't moved all day. The total has gotten some significant movement and continues to move. 10.5s, some 10s with a little juice on them, 9.5s, and now 9s with 79% of the bets and 73% of the cash. Probably the big reason, surprisingly, it's Patrick Corbin Day for these Texas Rangers. And look, Patrick Corbin's played the Baltimore Orioles before. He ain't no stranger to this locale, this geography, this hot temperature, this hot, steamy 98 degrees, they're saying down there in Baltimore, Maryland. Ugh. Lefty on lefty, though. Let's start there. You guys know I'm a big proponent of the lefty on lefty matchup. When we look at Patrick Corbin, phenomenal year for this guy. Still in the bigs, gets himself another shot. Did give up 6 hits and 4 earned runs, only 1 homer his last start, but that was against Kansas City. You know, and if he's giving up that many hits, they're not winning. They did take the L. So Patrick Corbin looking to potentially bounce his ass back into the winning position. Trevor Rogers, on the other hand of things, Trevor Rogers has been a piece of shit. Oh, that's not entirely true. Trevor Rogers has been battling back from adversity and injuries, and he comes back out May 24th. He goes 6.1 innings, only gives up 2 hits. I think he re-aggravated his injury. Sits back out again. He hasn't played. Now he plays June 18th against Tampa. Only goes 2.1 innings, so that means he was into the top of the third. He gets hit 5 times, gives up 3 earned runs, 4 Ks in that process. So we're going to need a little bounce back action. The fortunate part for us in this bounce back scenario for these two pitchers is they're playing shitty offenses in their respective positions out there. So first of all, the Orioles lineup, Charmin soft against lefties. This is not a spot if you're looking for home run spots out there. At least in the early part of the game, guys like Gunnar Henderson, Ryan Mountcastle, Ryan O'Hearn, Ramon Laureano's another guy that I like. They're all hitting under 250 against lefties. Their ISO mark is 0.84. That is the official lowest in Major League Baseball. Hard to imagine they're going to touch Corbin. And I'm just looking at it thinking, God, why are they not adding Texas to this as well? On the other side of things, Trevor Rogers, I mentioned it. Think about the inconsistency in the bats here with this guy is against lefties. Texas strikes out a ton. They have the 7th highest strikeout rate, so they're not showing very good plate discipline. And their scoring goes down. They're only getting 3.79 runs a game on the road. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a same game parlay. I'm going to take the Rangers. I'm going to get that under 10. And I'm going to go to, is it starting right now? Shit. I'm going to add Trevor Rogers strikeouts. Over 4.5. Ugh, I played that like shit, didn't I? The reason with Trevor Rogers strikeouts, there's big line movement on this thing for this guy. I just talked about the lack of K-rate discipline that this Baltimore Orioles team is showing out there. And the guy's in a bounce back spot. Lefty on lefty, I think, is a good opportunity for us out there. So that becomes a plus 650 for that little same gamer. Kind of played that like shit. Wish I had I thought 640, not 635. That's my fault. They're already down to 9. Yeah, part of the reason I was looking at Texas, by the way, for some of you guys, I see some of you saying that you were leaning towards Baltimore. I get it. I mean, it's a tough one all around. It's just a Rangers spot. When it comes down to this position in the series, the number one spot, the number one game out there on the road, these are play-on spots for teams like the Texas Rangers tonight. But it's all right. We're just going to fire that one out there as a quick little, let's see if we can't catch this money. Let's go on to game number 2. David Wallace's pass on this one. I'm fucking degen. I got to get the action in me. And then the action has to be a multi-leg parlay. But I like it. I like the Texas Rangers. I wanted all 3 of those legs individually. So rather than going 4 wide on the first game of a small card in the afternoon here, I'd figure I'll just prime it up to a nice big payday if we can get there. I told you guys I was a little out of sorts here with the card today because it all kind of came together pretty quickly, I guess is the best way I would describe it. The Yankees and the Reds battle, I don't know. Time will tell. Reds open up at plus 102. They've moved to plus 108. 72% of the bets and 79% of the cash are on them New York Yankees. Yankees at a discount. And the numbers coming down, 10.5s have moved to 10s. Recent performance out there, we saw Yankees pitchers struggle. We've seen the Yankees struggle as a whole. Alan Winans, the righty, it's been touched up, to say the least. It's kind of a spot start for this guy because the Yankees, their pitching is going to be their downfall this year for sure. I mean, the bats, you get those hot bats like that, you got to expect they're going to go in rhythms. They're going to go in cycles out there. Nick Lodolo on the other side, the big old lefty, trying to go out there and mow him down. I'm perplexed with this one because part of me wants to just jump in on the Yankees. Upon further review, though, I did find that the Reds, when they're priced in that home dog, we don't know what to do with them position. And we know what we don't know what to do with them position is, right? It's kind of like within that 120, 130 range. Well, how about for Cincinnati? What we're finding here is I'm not sure what to do with them range. They're 9-1 in the home dog roll between even and plus 120 spots. They're coming off a day game. So they had a little bit of time, a little extra time to rest and recuperate. Most important for guys like Elly De La Cruz, who have kind of been a little slumpish, to say the least. I would lean to the over in this game as well. I did think about taking the over instead of trying to split the number here, but I'm just concerned about that price tag we're looking at with this Reds team. Or with this Yankees team, it doesn't leave me screaming, yay, let's go get him here. Now, the Yankees have certainly come off of some good spots here. 3-1 their last 4. They finished the win off against that Angels series, but that was right in the middle of one of the craziest slumps I've ever seen. They were shut out like 5 times in 9 games. It's absurd. Now, law of averages, these guys are going to bust out in a big way. To me, the reality is the Cincinnati Reds are the team that, obviously, when we're looking to win, we need to fire. And guys like Elly De La Cruz, certainly capable of doing it. He has faced Winans. In fact, a couple of these guys have. Ellie's gone 2 for 2 against him with that homer. Spencer Steer, 2 for 2 with an RBI. Jake Fraley, 1 for 2. That one was a homer. So I think batting power-wise, we check the box for the Cincinnati Reds. Plus, they're the home team. Plus, they're in a hitter-friendly ballpark, which certainly makes Winans subject to some beating. On the other side of things here, Lodolo has faced, Goldschmidt and Bellinger. He has not seen the wrath or reign of Judge, Stanton, Volpe, Wells, LeMahieu. He did face Chisholm. Jazz Chisholm. 0 for 1 was Chisholm. Paul Goldschmidt, 4 for 8. Bellinger, 4 for 9. I like runs. Another situation where it's hot as fuck. Ball should be flying. I think we're going to start to see the return of the scoring runs in these games here through the dog days of summer. But I'll take a shot with the dog. Give me the home dog. Give me that big spot for him as well. I think they're in a good position to make the other fellas pay just a little bit more. That being said, I wouldn't be surprised to watch the Yankees go out there and club these fuckers 13-2. And it's Elly and Spencer Steer that find a way to get the results. But we don't want to put that into the ether. We're going to take a shot with that dog, and we're going to move on to the Atlanta Braves and the New York Mets, I believe, is the next battle we have at hand. It is. It's ready to go, and so am I. I mentioned this at the start of the show. These two teams just came off of, I don't want to call them big divisional games. They're divisional games. And big movement to Atlanta. And I think it's false. I think it's the wrong move. I think the move here is the Mets at a nice price tag. Minus 138 to minus 150 on the Braves. 62% of the bets, 66% of the cash. Now, I've been wrong before. That's for sure. And we'll be wrong again. The nines moved to 8.5. 87% of the bets and 86% of the cash are on the over. Here's another guy in Paul Blackburn, battling injuries. This guy had something going on with his spine, wasn't it? I can't remember. Spinal fluid leakage or some shit like that. It was bad. Dude had a major surgery last year on his back. Talk about fucking throwing mechanics. His fucking leaking spinal fluid. I don't even know what it would look like to realize you're leaking spinal fluid. My lower back's been hurt for like 5 days. Am I leaking spinal fluid? I don't know. I hope not. Sounds fucking miserable. Schwelly's on the other side with a 3.26 ERA. So I mentioned the 6.92 ERA when it comes to Paul Blackburn. I don't know how long they're going to give him. Does he go deep? Well, if he's mowing him down, maybe he does. Are they looking at the clock, trying to prevent further injury? That could be as well. Not quite as hot. This is probably the coolest ballpark today as far as temperature. Just under 90. Sounds horrible. And yeah, again, correct numbers-wise from the recent performances, specifically for Blackburn, suggest he's just trying to come back from this injury. And he got busted up. 3.2 innings pitched last week. Means he went into the 4th inning. He got 4 hits. He gave up 3 earned and a home run. So that was against Atlanta. I do believe in the zigzag when it comes to, I've said this to you guys before. If the pitcher struggled against the team and he hasn't played anybody in between, it favors the other side. It favors the pitcher playing well. The Braves shut the Mets out in that game. It was a 5-0 final. Schwelly on the other side of things here, coming into this one. I mean, look, he went 7 innings. He sort of matched the numbers. He got hit 6 times, gave up 4 earned, 2 homers against this Mets team. And the Mets are in life support mode right now. And you might be looking at the standings and going, well, they're the second best team in the NL East. Listen, feast or famine. I've talked about it before with these bats when it comes to the Mets. They can get cold and they stay cold. That's how guys like Francisco Lindor ended up on the shit list last year, if you'll recall. That being said, they can't let Philadelphia get any more of a gap in that standings. And if so, they'll be fighting for a wild card spot, trying to just get into the playoffs. And they don't really have, in my estimation, the pitching staff to go out there and do anything about it. That's where I think the problem is. They got busted up 10-2 and 7-1 against the Phillies. Of course, they played Sunday night. Settle down, though. It's not the furthest trip in the world. It's about an hour and a half probably from Philly to the New York Mets. Situationally depending. So everybody cool it. I know it's a travel spot from Sunday Night Baseball, but I don't care. I'm jumping in on the under. Jumping in on the under for 2 reasons. One, I talk about Lindor. If Lindor got a home run in the division, the next game they play as a regular season dog, they're 8-0 to the under. I don't know why. Maybe because if Lindor's banging the ball out there and catching home runs, you're incredibly desperate. You're not talking about the polar bear in this case. They're 9-0 when they're not a huge dog, 360 or greater, which means pretty much anytime they're in the dog role against a righty off a lefty game. They struggle to make the switch when it comes to seeing this different spin on the balls. But remember, lefty-righty, the ball's coming in with a different spin. They're going under in those games by 2.5 runs a pop. And it's Atlanta with a monster 15 straight under streak. Books aren't sure what to do with them. They're favorites less than a 130. Struck out less than 12 times. Bullpen didn't allow a run. In other words, plate discipline, bullpen stepping up. That's why they're a favorite. They're averaging 6.3 runs in those spots. Rather than trying to thread the needle, I'm going to just take the under. I'm going to hope for this to be a lower scoring game. I know when I was looking at the standing or the weather today, I was like, man, balls could be flying out everywhere. And that certainly can be problematic and scary, but I'm going to try to battle that storm. I took the under 8.5. I think it's a fair deal for us here. For what it's worth, where was that number that I saw? Oh, I can't find it. There it is. Mets. This is where I said a Mets spot. It is that situational bounce back. So I just talked about the unders when they're coming off of a lefty matchup. How about when they're the home team coming off a game versus a lefty? They're 10-1 straight up. 10-1 straight up in those Mets spots out there. Catch a nice little Mets price tag. Maybe we'll see if this show ends here. Timely enough for me to get it in, or at least look to live bet him. I could say that too. I mean, I think the live betting under looks like a great opportunity as well. We've been pretty dialed into some of those here. New series though, new starts in some of these spots, so we have to see what happens. Again, this series being a little different because they just played them. In fact, now the Mets are on their, I'm sorry, the Braves are on their third straight series against the NL East. So the Pirates and the Brewers, the Brew Crew, the Pirates fighting in this corner, fighting out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Pirates come in this thing at plus 167. Huge reverse line movement. It's dropped 15 cents. It's dropped 27 cents on the Brewer side of things. They were a $2 favorite. They're $1.75, 84% of the bets, and 94% of the cash are hitting on this Brewers team. It's come down 12.5% on the total number, despite everybody betting it. That's a huge move. That's the big mover of the day. Total's got 93% of the bets, 94% of the cash on the over. That is not moved. Pirates and Brew Crew, Ashcraft and Patrick. We know Ashcraft was a former Cincinnati Red, and he's spotting a 1.54 ERA because he has a Cincinnati Red. He's got plenty of time against this Milwaukee Brew Crew. Then we got Patrick on the other side with a 3.5 ERA. Not Patrick's finest year. 3 and 7 suggests that when he gets out there, he's not helping anybody. Not only is he not helping them, they're not scoring runs for him either. That's what I was trying to say in that situation. And look, Braxton Ashcraft just goes 2 innings. Kind of a spot start role for this guy out there. Predominantly a 2-inning guy, an opener, Braxton Ashcraft. Maybe I meant Brandon. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyhow, looking at these two spots here, two things. One, I'm not a believer in the Brew Crew. I haven't been for some time now. They did just come off of kicking the dog shit out of Minnesota, but it's Minnesota, and we'll be fading Minnesota in just a few minutes. 17-6, 9-0, 9-8. This is one of those unique situations where we have the team coming back home after extended road series, 6 straight road games. One of those road games, though, was kind of wonky, meaning the schedules got all messed up. The Cubs postponed with weather. They had games pushed back, just enough to change the rotation. Then they come back against the Minnesota Twins that I mentioned, 17-6, 9-0, and 9-8. I suspect a lower scoring game in this situation. The Pirates 3-13 to the under on the road on Mondays, coming off a series loss and scored 8 or fewer runs. Bats don't instill confidence. I do believe in the blown load factor, though. I do think in this case here, we've got ourselves a very viable opportunity to talk about that because we've seen a shit ton of runs. By the way, I neglected to mention on that Atlanta game, one of the guys that if you're looking for a home run, I'd consider Acuna Jr. He's been on a tear. We played him the other day. He's been on fire. His over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs plus 105. Sorry, I left that out of there. But it's a good price tag spot for the Pirates. In fact, we're gonna do a little double dipping on this Pittsburgh Pirates team. For me, I like these prices. Not a big proponent of anything Brewers, first of all. Sorry, Jover. But, again, you blew your load. Chad Patrick, I guess, is the guy I got to look at. And you got to really dig deep with this guy because he'll give you 5 innings, but he likes to pitch to contact. And that's where I think the problem sets in here. You got a team that doesn't get a lot of ducks on the pond, and your pitcher's going to go out there. And how do you define it? Look, his last 4 games, 6 hits, 7 hits, 4 hits, 5 hits, 1 home run, 2 home runs, 1 home run. Leaky as a faucet in Chad Patrick. And then you got the Pirates coming in kind of a weird spot. So we've got the blown load factor for the Brewers where they score too much. They used it all up. Whether you believe in that theory or not. On the other side of things, it's Pittsburgh. After a home game that they didn't get multiple home runs. In other words, they didn't use it all up. They're 6-0, these Pirates. So we're going to take a first shot crack. Pittsburgh, first half. Pittsburgh, full game. Big reverse line movement out there against them. I like that under. I like the fact that if they're looking at a lower scoring game, this could be that 2-3 run scratched across the bases are just enough to get the win. And that's really all that we can expect to see out of Pittsburgh. And we know Milwaukee used it all up. So I'm going to double dip this Pirate spot. Give me some good plus money plays there. The other one that I wanted to get involved with a little double dipper. With no action on the card here. We're going to talk about the Diamondbacks. Let's talk about the Snakes. Smith and Rodriguez. Interesting position when you look at these two squats. Why is the number so low? Why is that number so low when you're looking at really, I mean, a minus 130, minus 120? This line opened up at 138, 80% of the bets, 83% of the cash coming in on them. Hasn't moved. Why hasn't it moved? Well, I think that the problem is Eduardo Rodriguez. We talked about him the other day. This guy's in a bag of shit roll. 0-9 comes Erod after 3 or more Ks. He just keeps losing after he strikes him out the previous game. It's tough in itself and it's as its whole to kind of just look at that factor out there. But, the Diamondbacks have had a hell of a travel run going on right now. They had that series north of the border. They're not so great on the road to begin with. They're 4th place in the NL West. This ain't the same team. When you look at it, they're coming off that series against Coors. So you had Toronto. You had to travel. Now, we talked about this before. Go back 2 weeks. Seattle, then San Diego. And we know that when they come against, they leave home and they travel out to the AL East. They struggle. And struggle they did. They lost that first game 5-4. They lost 8-1. Customs is a factor. Then they pack it all up in the plane. They fly back across the country to Colorado. They put it on Colorado 14-8, 5-3, then lost that last game 4-2. And now we got a situation where they're leaving Coors. I'm a proponent of fading teams in those spots. Eugenio Suarez, the home run hitter. Right now, he hasn't had the finest week. I guess it's okay. He's got 11 hits, but, he's kind of been the guy stirring the drink. You haven't heard much about Corbin Carroll. Well, some of those Coors games in Colorado, they were putting up some numbers, so it's hard to argue with that. But look, he just came off of getting shut out, and he's leaving Coors, and that's the guy that's your go-to and your power and your meat. So I'm going to double dip it. I'm going to fade him. I'm going to take 2 more big plus money shots with the White Sox. It feels to me like when I play the White Sox, I end up on the Pirates as well. I don't know how those two seem correlated or not, but I do like a shot there. I think there's a good opportunity for us to get plus money between one of these. Now, that being said, for what it's worth, just full transparency here. Diamondbacks are 8-2 when they're priced in that. We're not sure what to do with them as a favorite role. Minus 120 to minus 140. Road favorites against the AL Central after a game against a righty. I'm going to negate that with the fact that they're just leaving Coors. I'm going to take a shot with that, knowing that Rodriguez, he don't play so well in these spots after 3 or more Ks anyway. So let's go. Let's keep her moving. Got 2 games left. Told you we still have plenty of action. Yeah, what's going on here? There we go. What do you guys have to say? Let's see what you guys have to say. Trip Carroll. What's wrong with FanDuel? Is y'all's down? I don't really use FanDuel that much these days. Markel using more hips than back. That could be. That could be. Jay Man says, I'm thinking about the Milwaukee team total steal. Probably not, huh? I mean, look, I'm just giving you my card. I'm not going to try to talk anybody off of anything. Yeah. I mean, it just screams low to me. It just screams low. That's all. White Sox plus 4.5 a go. Plus 4.5 runs. Yeah, I think I'm plus 4.5 runs. Can't be 4.5 runs, is it? David Wallace has played everything. All right, well, let's go. Let's go. Let's get these last two games in. Let's get everybody up out of here. Enjoy your hot, steamy Monday. Get this off the screen. Talks of Mariners and Twins. Not a Twins backer, as stated. As aforementioned. Oh, by the way. Wow. Uber is the starting pitcher. And Uber has done a number on me. This fucking guy, under in his K prop. I thought long and hard about this one. I just didn't pull the trigger. Seattle. It's funny. I was sitting down with Jeff on, actually, I think it was Friday. We were driving down to the casino. And I said, I gave you guys this too. One of the premium plays I shared. I said, I'm unloading on the Mariners. And they came back and they beat the shit out of the Cubs. I mean, it was Mariners all day. The thing is, you got to recognize why. And it's because this team is a road team. They're not a home team. It has to do with the dimensions of their ballpark and some of the other stuff, not to get in the weeds for. But I commented and I said, I felt a couple weeks ago, I felt like the Mariners win in Texas, Houston, Rangers particularly. And I started digging in, and what did I find are the dimensions of the ballparks, the baby parks. They got guys that are built to hit with some power. So you're playing in a pitcher's park, or at least not a batter friendly park. Of course, you're in some trouble. So that's why I unloaded on the Mariners the other day. I'm not a big proponent of Uber, and I'm not a big proponent of the Twins. So now you know my feeling here. 71% of the bets, 91% of the cash are on the Mariners. It's moved 22 cents in their direction. They're now a minus $1.30 favorite. The total's dropping. 91% of the bets, 90% of the cash on the under. It's Brian Woo that's going to get the start with a 3.12 ERA. Uber with that 4.54, just fuck me real good ERA. The guy that I talked about out there was Cal Raleigh. I like this dude for a homer again tonight. Problem is we got ourselves a little under situation. 18-5 to the under when the Twins are in that $1 to $1.20 range. Underdog against AL West opponents, and that's a 10-year trend. It's funny, Ramon was making fun of me last night when I talked about the NBA trend, and I said, he's like, some of that goes back to 1998. It's true. But what it tells you is over a 25-year sample, this is what happens. And that's what happened. In fact, I even said that they're showing average profiles of 180 points. What, they get 190 points in that game? Pretty fucking dialed in. This one goes back 10 years. Most of these dudes, if not all of them, were not playing on the Twins for the last 10 years. But what they're saying is when the bookmakers use all their analytics and they come up with a tag between $1 and $1.20 dog against AL West opponents, these go under. And they're going under at almost 80% rate. Minnesota Twins, Seattle Mariners. I get it. Brian Woo on the bump. The 9s come down to 8.5. The key number at 9. All that cash coming in on them, and they moved it. Seattle maybe parlayed with the under 9. Could be a good go. Maybe this is that same game parlay where you get invested with Cal Raleigh. Leads the MLB in homers. Not Ohtani. Not Judge. Cal Raleigh. And I even said that to Jeff when we were driving on Friday. I was like, watch, Cal Raleigh probably knocks a dong. Nope, he got two. He got 2 home runs. Cal Raleigh did. So I'd look to some Cal Raleigh. I'd look to see if he can't get in the home run game. I might try to figure out a same game parlay action for that one too. 7:40 p.m. though. I'm going to take the Mariners. How about the Mariners being 14-3 when they're in a position where the books aren't sure what to do with them? When they're priced between $1 and a -120 as a road favorite, coming off of back-to-back overs. If you like the 10-year trend for the Minnesota Twins, how about a 1996 trend going all the way back to 1996 when the bookmakers aren't sure how big a favorite to make these boys. They win 82.5% of the time. Give me the Seattle Mariners. It correlates with the line movement. It's -130. I don't know if we need to be greedy. I don't know if we just firebomb this thing. I don't know if we hit it with the Cal Raleigh and an under same game parlay mixed in there as well, but I want me some Seattle Mariners. I think we got ourselves a good sample and a good win percentage. Sometimes we're just looking for that little nudge. Just give us a little kick in one direction versus the other. And that's what we got right there. Dasty Nace is taking you back, way back. Yeah, David Wallace. I don't mind Ronald Acuna. I think Acuna's a good look. I think Cal Raleigh's a good look. Everybody got margins. Let's go. Abel A is 194. Okay. I got the last game on the board for me tonight in what I think is a pretty shit schedule. Give me runs. Give me Kyle Tucker. Cubs and Cardinals action flopping out here. -106 Cubs small road dogs have become road favorites at -114. 70% of the bets, 57% of the cash are on the Cubs. Totals of 9 have come down to 8.5 with 92% of the bets and 83% of the cash. And now I want to strike. Liberatore and Brown, a 4.08 ERA for Liberatore. Brown with a 5.57. Good enough for us to start looking to see some runs in this game. Bottom line, when I was looking at these two, couple things. We got some big, strong trends to the over. We got hot bats, them hot bats for the Cubs right now. 19 games in June, 81 runs. Streaky. They rank 4th in ISO at a 201. Remember, we talked about that 0.8 or a 0.08, a 0.201 in ISO. They're going home runs and extra bases is what that means. That's what the ISO number means. You ever hear those numbers and you hear that they're ranked high in ISO? It's just power. They're hitting with power. When they connect, guys are advancing. They're not just getting singles, they're getting doubles. That's why there's a lot of opportunity for doubles in this game against Liberatore. He's been crushed. 14 runs, 22 hits in his last 15 innings pitched. Cubs lineup does hit lefties. And Kyle Tucker is one of the best to do it. 400 in his last 5 games. OPS of 1.328. Love me some Kyle Tucker at a +175 price tag for the ribeye. Ben Brown, on the other hand, his ERA is over 5. I don't know what you want to say. He sucks. He's got a whip of 1.48. He's not getting better. He's getting worse. He's kind of He's kind of idling around bad, I guess is the way I would describe him. Cardinals are scoring 50 runs over their last 10 games as well. So I think there's an opportunity for us to see those runs. The Cardinals, 10-0 to the over after a loss. If the opponent had an error and they're priced between the we don't know what to do with them book position. 10-0-1 to the over in those positions for the Cardinals. When I say we don't know what to do with them, that's the 130s, right? +130 to -130. That bracket of essentially a pick 'em or a little bit juice or a little bit of a dog, they just go over. They surprise and runs get cracked in those spots out there. And I'm going to take that over 8.5. Now that it's come down off that key number of 9, I'm going to take me some Kyle Tucker for the aforementioned reason that he is mashing the ball against lefties. This is one club, I think one of the best baseball batting clubs in the game today. We talked about it. Phillies, Dodgers, Cubs, top 3 for me. And they're showing it in their results. Now the Yankees certainly factor in there too, and not mad at Even the Diamondbacks from some time can hit. Will the Giants figure it out now? I don't know, but you should be automatically playing Devers to get a fucking home run or an RBI at least, because he's shown his ability to do that consistently. But I'm good. I'm going to take the over 8.5. I'm going to take some Kyle Tucker. I'm going to put the boat on the show. Fernando Mendoza's in the house. He likes Brian Reynolds to get an RBI. I'd like to hear you guys talking RBIs now that we're in the RBI business. We are. I like a little home run prop. I like that parlay with a RBI prop. Acuna, Kyle Tucker, Cal Raleigh. All good spots to get incorporated with as well. So that's going to be the way we do it tonight, you guys. It was a smaller card. I was a little late, so I apologize to everybody, but I appreciate you hanging out and waiting. We got big things to do. We got a big summer ahead. We're going to enjoy it, but we got to continue to grow these bankrolls, and that is the most important thing. We want to position ourselves for an incredible fall, and it starts today. The first day, the dog days, just getting past that summer solstice longest day. And here we are. Longest day +1. So enjoy yourself. Stay cool out there. Get plenty of refreshments. Make sure you get some water. Get some ice going out there. Keep yourselves cool and hydrated. We need you back here building this community tomorrow at 6 p.m. On behalf of the Sports Money crew, good luck to everybody today. Get that money.